Hi everybody, my name is Sergey Baidashny and I'm a Principal Technical Evangelist at Microsoft Canada. And today we are going to continue our training about Visual Studio Code, and we already discussed JavaScript, TypeScript, and today we are going to discuss Nodejs. So Nodejs is a runtime and framework in order to execute JavaScript applications on many different platforms. So thanks to Nodejs, JavaScript is not just a language, programming language for browsers anymore. So thanks to JavaScript you can do anything. Of course, in order to use Nodejs you have to install Nodejs on your machine. We already made it, and if you still don't have Nodejs on your machine, you have to visit nodejs.org and you can install it directly from here. Once you install Nodejs, you will be able to use Nodejs framework. You will be able Node tool in order to execute JavaScript code on your machine, and you will be able to use npm, Nodejs package manager tool, in order to install lots of different additional packages. So let's start working with Nodejs. First of all, we are not going to do anything special. We are going to create standard JS config because we are going to work with JavaScript. So let's create a JS config .json because we have to provide information about our project. Let's click Control Space. Let's select existing snippets. So it's good for us. And we have to create at least one JavaScript file. So let's select main.js, for example. And inside this file, we are going to use some Node.js modules. For example, if we want to execute a local web server, thanks to Node.js, we can use a special module called HTTP. You can find everything about HTTP visiting Node.js documentation. So you can open docs folder and you can look at API documentation, or you can open guides and open all about HTTP. So we can simply copy this code. You can see that this code use HTTP module, and thanks to HTTP module it create a local server. So let's paste it to our file. And if you start working with HTTP, because you have to execute one more method at least in order to start listening, you have to use HTTP inside this function. You can see that IntelliSense system is not here, so you can type HTTP, but after that you can see just local objects, and that's all. Because Visual Studio Code knows nothing about HTTP module and about all modules in Node.js. So how to manage it? In the previous session we discussed TypeScript definition files. So frankly speaking, we can use TypeScript definition files for JavaScript projects as well, not just for TypeScript projects, because TypeScript definition files don't contain any implementation, and we simply have to provide interface to Visual Studio Code, and it's not important at all even if we have our modules in JavaScript, and if we develop our code in JavaScript, Visual Studio Code can simply read information from TypeScript definition files and provide IntelliSense system for our JavaScript code. So it's not a problem at all. In order to start working with TypeScript definition files, we have to install a TypeScript definition for Node.js. So open terminal window in context of our working folder. And last time we discussed how to use typings tool. So in order to find and install all needed TypeScript definition files, you have to use Node.js package manager in order to install typings. And probably will sudo, but I already have typings tool. We installed it last time. So because I already have it, I can use it like typings install node. So this command will install Node.js TypeScript definition file and parameter a. Let's click enter. So something happened, and you can see that I have typings folder inside my working folder, and now I can start working with HTTP, and I can use IntelliSense system. So let's test IntelliSense system. For example, HTTP dot, and you can see lots of methods and properties inside HTTP. So for example, I just created the server, and I still did not provide any port for my server, so probably I have to use listen method, and you can see that listen method is in the list, and I can use it, and I can even use IntelliSense system for parameters as well. So the first parameter is port for listening, and you can see that that's all other parameters are optional. So now I have my own web server on port 8001. I still don't have anything inside, but at least I can use all features of Visual Studio Code. Let's add a couple lines of code to this method in order to see that it's really work. So something like this. I am going to print hello world on the screen in my browser, and let's click save. And now we can try to run our code. In order to do it, of course, we can try to use node tool from command line. But it's not a good way, because we still in development process, and we want not just run this tool and not just use IntelliSense system. We are going to use debug tool as well. So Nodejs debugging is embedded to Visual Studio Code, so you can use it without any specific extensions. How to use debugging? First of all, we have to set couple breakpoints in order to see that our code works fine, and in order to see all debug features, of course. And we have to open debug view. You can see that I don't have any configuration file there, so I simply can click Start button, and Visual Studio Code will propose to generate launch.json file using existing templates. You can see that there are templates for Unity, for .NET. I already installed C# extensions, and I already installed Unity debugger extension. So that's why I have 4 extensions, one more extension in case if you are going to create new extensions using Visual Studio Code. And the first configuration file, launch.json file, especially for Nodejs. So we are going to select this one. It contains at least 2 configurations. First configuration allows us to run our Node.js Node.js framework and our code directly from Visual Studio Code, and the second configuration allows us to attach to existing process. So we have to modify our configuration file a little bit, because you can see that in this case our debugger will try to run application app.js file. In our case we have main.js, so it's in workspace root, and looks like that all what we have to do. So we can save our code, and let's try to click Start button once again. Let's see what happens there. So you can see that our first breakpoint was fired, and you can see all local objects. You can execute some expressions using watch window. You see a list of breakpoints, so all the same things that we already saw. Then we tried to use debugging with Unity 3D. You can enable, disable breakpoints. You can create a function breakpoint. You can use console window in order to execute some expressions as well, and in order to read all important information about debugging. So let's click continue, and now we have our Node.js server running thanks to Node tool. So let's try to open browser, and let's navigate to our server. We are using port number 8001, so let's try to use localhost in order to navigate to this port. HTTP localhost 8001. Let's see what happened. Oh, you can see that our method inside our server just fired, and we can go step by step. We can check just using cursor, mouse cursor, we can check everything inside response object. We can check parameters as well, and it's really great. So all the same features like in Visual Studio Community and Professional for more advanced languages like C#, C++, etc. So now you can easily debug, not just create code in JavaScript, but you can easily debug your code in JavaScript. And of course, if you create your code in TypeScript, you have to compile your TypeScript to JavaScript, and after that you will be able to use debugger as well, and thanks to source map you will be able to set up breakpoints inside your TypeScript as well. So it's really easy, and you have not to install any specific extensions. So let's remove this breakpoint, let's click run, and let's open our browser, and you can see hello world. So done, we created a small web server in several minutes. So that's all about Node.js, because we already discussed JavaScript, we already discussed TypeScript. So all what you have to use just typing tool, and all other features are embedded to Visual Studio Code, and you can use them without any specific extensions.